Hi, this is Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And one of the core differences between these two highly famous tabletop collectible card games, all right? Trading card games, all right? And what we're going to talk about today is the difference in their television shows. All right, so first and foremost, before we get started here, why am I talking to you about Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? Well, I've never talked about this before. I've never compared these games before. And the reason why was I wasn't prepared to. All right? Now, what's changed this year? Well, okay, so first of all, let me give my bona fides with Magic the Gathering, and then give my bona fides with Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay? All right, collectible card game for each. Okay? Trading card game for each. All right, so here we go. Magic the Gathering. I'm a super Mac when it comes to Magic the Gathering. I have played since 1993. I have owned every single Mox and the Black Lotus. I've owned the Power 9 multiple times, okay? Now, I owned them when we were selling them for $5. I owned them when we were signing cards as cards, right? I've been playing Magic the Gathering since 1993. I've seen the entire history of the game, right? So I'm deep in the weeds, right? I played in the Magic the Gathering World Tournament in 1995 at Gen Con. I've played in PTQ. I played in PTQs. I played in more Friday Night Magics than I can remember. I still own to this day easily 10,000 cards. I have a lot, right? Like, so I've been around when it comes to Magic the Gathering. All right, let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So I dismissed and ignored Yu-Gi-Oh. By the way, Magic the Gathering is 26 years old. I have played for all 26 years. Yu-Gi-Oh is 23 years old. I have played Yu-Gi-Oh for 1 year. 1 year, 1 year. All right, now, I wouldn't just roll up here and and squawk at you about Yu-Gi-Oh! Compare these two games if I didn't know what I was talking about. I am a real Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. All right, I have built multiple decks, right? My primary deck is a Zombie World deck. I run Doom King, Baylor Drach. I run a Raigeki. I run Monster Reborn, right? I got my Needlebug Nests up in there. It's a real deck, right? And I have multiple decks, right? And in addition to that, I have played in tournaments, and I have played in casual play as well. And I now consider myself a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. I'm part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, and I'm proud to be part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. And it's super fun, and I like it. It's a cool game. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! And I feel like I've played both of these long enough to compare them. All right, thank you very much for your patience there. All right, let's continue. I'm going to now give you a comparison of the Magic the Gathering television shows and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Television shows. First, let's talk about Magic the Gathering television shows. Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about Magic the Gathering television shows. Did you notice that shocking silence? That's because there are none. There are no Magic the Gathering television shows. None, zip, zilch, zally, right? Like, they do not exist. Now, I am aware that there's one in pre-production right now. Whatever. Like, okay. All right. Let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Television shows. These are not episodes I'm about to talk about. These are separate shows. There are 7 Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. There are 7 separate Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows. It's crazy. Let's talk about them. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. That's the original series, okay? Yu-Gi-Oh! R. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexals. Yu-Gi-Oh! ArcV. Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. There are 7 Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows. And each one of them has no less than 15 to 20, and some of them have well over 100 episodes. There are hundreds of Yu-Gi-Oh! Episodes spanning 7 different series. 7, right? Now, this one fact, right? The fact that there are 7 Yu-Gi-Oh! Television shows and there are 0 Magic the Gathering television shows makes a very distinct difference in the games. All right. Now, specifically, the biggest difference is in the community. Right? There is a huge difference between the community of Yu-Gi-Oh and the community of Magic the Gathering. All right, let's talk about it. All right, first and foremost, goodwill. The Yu-Gi-Oh community has an incredible amount of goodwill for the game, and they love the game, all right? More than Magic the Gathering players love Magic. It's just a fact, right? And the reason why is Yu-Gi-Oh is not just a game for Yu-Gi-Oh players. The vast majority of them, it is also a form of entertainment. They can't, and most Yu-Gi-Oh players started with the entertainment and graduated to the game, right? And then, because their love for the game grew up, many of them went back and dug deeper into the entertainment. It is not uncommon for Yu-Gi-Oh players to start with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, right? Watching it, play the game, and then be like, oh my gosh, I love this game so much, I'm going to watch every single series, right? So it's really a very distinct thing. All right, and again, there's no equivalent on the Magic side. All right, let's talk about anime decks, right? Anime decks are a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! So what are anime decks? Anime decks are decks, like decks of cards that copy decks that are in the show, right? So when you say anime deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, you mean a deck that the card list is actually explicit in the show. It's wild. It is really, really wild. And again, there is absolutely no analogy. There's no analogous component within Magic the Gathering. It's just really, really strange. Let's talk about memories. All right. Virtually every single Yu-Gi-Oh player has their own memories. Their own memories. Right? We're going to talk about memories on two different platforms, right? They have their own specific memories of the show connected with real life. Okay, so every Yu-Gi-Oh player has a memory in their brain like this. They're watching Yu-Gi-Oh GX, right? And then their dad brings them out a plate of waffles on a Saturday morning, or a Saturday afternoon, and the waffles have butter on them and syrup, right? And that junior high kid, that high school kid, that college kid remembers just cutting up those waffles and eating those waffles while they watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, right? It's like every Yu-Gi-Oh! And this goes back to the goodwill thing. Like, the goodwill is so high among the Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, and there's literally no counterpart to this in Magic, right? So Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have individual memories, like good memories connected in their mind with the game and with their personal life experiences. And I just gave you one right off the top of my head, but many Yu-Gi-Oh players will share these when you're at the card shop and you're just kicking around playing some fun games. They'll talk about their own personal memories of the game. All right, next, shared memories, right? So many Yu-Gi-Oh players remember, like a perfect example of a shared memory is Yu-Gi-Oh on motorcycles. I think it's in VRAINS where, basically in the show, there are characters in the show playing Yu-Gi-Oh card game as they ride motorcycles down a highway, right? It's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's crazy, and it is an absolute shared memory of every Yu-Gi-Oh player. They laugh about it, they make in-jokes about it, but it's a shared memory. It's a shared memory, right? So players have their own individual memories that only they have, and they may or may not share them with other players. And then there are these shared memories, right? And even shared memories from the show. It's wild. All right, the next one is humor. There is the Yu-Gi-Oh shows, the 7 Yu-Gi-Oh series. I'm going to list them again. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, Yu-Gi-Oh! R, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexals, Yu-Gi-Oh! ArcV, Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, right? The seven Yu-Gi-Oh! shows have humor in them. Now, guess what? That humor is intentional. There are some very, very funny jokes that the writers wrote into that show. And there is an incredible amount of unintentional humor in the shows. Things that you laugh at that were not supposed to be funny, all right? So I'm going to give you one of my favorite pieces of humor in the whole show that was completely unintentional. I love this aspect of the show, and I don't even remember which series this was in. But one of the characters is being trained by the old man who owns the card shop, and he has to learn to draw cards from his deck. By the way, Heart of the Cards. Heart of the Cards is a shared memory. All Yu-Gi-Oh players say it at some point. Heart of the Cards, right? It's a shared memory. All right, okay, let's go back to humor. All right, so this one of the characters is being trained by the old man card shop owner, and he has to learn how to draw from his deck. So the old man takes him into the forest, hands him his deck, and tells him, walk into that river. The kid walks into the river, and now the kid's up to his waist in water, right? And the old man says, throw your deck upstream. So the kid throws his deck upstream, and now the old man blindfolds him, right? And then says, draw, right? And so the kid has to put his hand down into the river and draw from the cards that are now floating down the river around him, from the deck he has thrown upstream. It is crazy. It was so, when I saw it, I just laughed and laughed and laughed, and I was like, that deck's unplayable now. What the heck? It was so funny, you know what I mean? And it was clearly supposed to be this special moment in the show. But I will tell you, the Yu-Gi-Oh shows are ridiculous and very funny, but very awesome. They're just incredibly awesome. And that is one of my favorite humor moments from the show. So that is a comparison between the Yu-Gi-Oh show, between Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic the Gathering. In this one attribute, who has the best shows? There's a clear winner. Yu-Gi-Oh wins. Yu-Gi-Oh wins. Magic loses. When it comes to shows, when it comes to the game serving as entertainment, Yu-Gi-Oh is light years ahead of Magic the Gathering. Yu-Gi-Oh is a really cool game. Magic the Gathering is a really cool game. I am very, very blessed to be a player in both. I also encourage you, if you are a Magic the Gathering player, start playing Yu-Gi-Oh. It is a blast. You're going to have a lot of fun. If you are a Yu-Gi-Oh player, start playing Magic. You should see what the other world lives like, right? It's quite interesting. So, all that is my comparison of Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And the shows themselves. I'd love to hear your experience with this. Do you have any personal memories of the shows? Please share them, of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows. Please share them in the comments below. Are you a Magic player? And since there is no Magic the Gathering show, you have your own dreams and you have your own Magic the Gathering show scrawled out on your notebook? Please share your insane doodlings in the comments below. Thank you very much. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.